What do I do in the intro? And welcome in to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And guys, we have a great show for you guys today. We gotta, before we get into what the show is and all the great stuff, we have to be really honest with you guys. We are recording this at like 12:30 at night after playing golf and playing basketball and eating chicken wings, and
it's been a day today.
It's been a full day. So I am almost certainly gonna mess up on at least five different names.
We started our day Tuesday at 9 a.m. and we're looking at it's Wednesday right now. Actually, yeah. So here we go.
I'm by the end of this podcast, I will have been up for 24 hours. I don't know if you knew that, but I woke up at like 1 a.m.
I'm honestly scared right now.
Yeah, no. So it's going to be a good one. Going to be a little bit of craziness. Bear with it. It's going to be fun. All right. So today we are talking about the AFC North.
God,
NFC
you already
North.
did it.
NFC North.
NFC North. Best division in football.
You are wearing your Vikings. I had a Vikings shirt, so I wore that. It's in celebration of this NFC North. This is actually mine. This is not his. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some fantasy football burning questions. So I have 3 burning questions for Jacob, and we're going to talk about that. I think that's a really good one. We're going to dive in a little bit onto prop bets. I have one, like maybe small segment. I don't know how long we'll really get into that. And then, of course, at the very end, we're going to finish it off with a top 5. And again, we're kind of following the trend that we've done it with the past couple weeks. Top 5 best offensive players in the NFC North. Top 5 best defensive players in the NFC North. So let's get started. Before we get into all that, we have to talk about some of the news and notes that's going on around the league. Let me pull it up. I don't have it here.
I'll bring one up for you that you don't even have. Madden 21 just released their trailer, and I will be the first to say that I am utterly disappointed in EA once again, and it just seems year after year that I'm ready for them to take the next step or to, I mean, they have so much money. It's EA, they're the biggest video game company ever. They have a monopoly on football, of course, we all know that, and they just released a subpar game where in the trailer it shows Lamar reaching out with the ball for the pylon, and they show that move 3 times, and then they show it 3 times where it doesn't work. And they say a game of inches or something like that. And it's like, for $60, you just put one new move in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like... It was just disappointing. It really was. I mean, I've kind of gotten shit because I feel like every other year I buy Madden now, and it didn't used to be that way. You and I both. I mean, me and him used to play in our underwear, just Madden tournament after Madden tournament after Madden tournament. I didn't have to say in our underwear, I guess, no. But it was a whole thing. I mean, we were college kids. We did nothing but play Madden and play basketball in the gym. Like that's all. That was our lives. Yeah. And did I save it?
You threw me off with the in our underwear thing right there. That was a good one.
All right, so and we loved it, and I still remember back then. Like, we're talking, 7, 8 years ago now? I mean, shit, it's not that. We're not that old. Fuck. Anyway, however long it was, we would talk about all the changes they could make. Oh, man, this would be cool. Oh, man, this would be cool. Oh, they could do this. And
they never do it.
Yeah, 6 years later, and this isn't shit that, like, just we're saying. I know it's out there. And it's just unfortunate. Madden has not developed into anything more.
So much money, so much time, and yet if you were to go into Madden 20 right now, run a play, pause it, go into instant replay, and then look at your team's sideline, there is a glitchy dude with 00 sitting at midfield. And it's just like, they don't even work on their dang sidelines anymore. They just put out the same product, and I'm going to be a sucker again. I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to open up a lot of MUT packs, and I always do it.
I'm not going to do it this year.
I do it every year, and I just can't help it.
I'm not. I bought the Patrick Mahomes one because I love Patrick Mahomes, and it looked like it was going to be better. Man,
you're going to get this year's Madden.
Yeah, I don't think I will. I really don't. Certain aspects of the new thing have been cool, but it's like there's just so much you could do with the game. And it was disappointing. The most disappointing part of this is they had a chance to get out of this contract with EA and let a different company make Madden.
2K had a chance.
2K, and it didn't even have to be a company that's used to making sports video games. I would have been really cool. I think it would have been really cool if a company that was known for sci-fi adventures or whatever it is, somebody that's never really touched a sports game went in and really tried to make a unique and exciting sports game, really bring their own flavor into it. Because I'm tired of Madden. I am. Like, what's the huge difference between Madden 20 that came out last year and Madden 10, Madden 09, Madden 07. I mean, like, really. Graphics got better a little.
And roster updates.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. Like that's just, it's just so frustrating. I absolutely agree. I'm glad we started on a really annoying point for both of us.
Yeah.
All right, so I have it up here. A couple other news and notes. I have a correction from last week. And this isn't a correction where we really got something wrong. This is just an update to a story we told you. Dalvin Cook, basically the story that he's holding out, that's still true. But I had said that Dalvin Cook was holding out for $16 million. He wanted to see Christian McCaffrey money, and it wasn't going to. We kind of both agreed, man, it's not happening. It's not in the budget. We're supposed to have a decrease in the cap this year, so I don't understand how it could be in the budget for Vikings who are already razor thin in those margins.
You got that right.
Apparently he would, and this is in quotes, gladly accept $13 million a year, which, you know, I understand it's only $3 million difference, but like that he deserves that.
Well, no, that makes it. It's just that big of a difference. Yeah, in the grand scheme.
Absolutely, and I think he absolutely deserves that kind of money. I think he should get something along those lines. Will he get it? We'll see. But
yeah,
I just wanted to throw that out there, make sure everyone understands that there's a little bit of an update.
Dalvin,
to that.
We're sorry. Please sign.
Please sign. Yes.
Don't hold out.
We'll see, man. I mean, I know I'm just echoing what we said last week. I just don't know what the Vikings would do. Man, it would be very, very interesting.
7-9 is what we do.
Yeah, that's about right. All right, so we'll move on. Brandon Brooks, Eagles right guard, tears his Achilles.
That was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And I on this pod, we are keeping up with every single off-season injury that comes up. A lot of these non-contact injuries happen, and they affect the team. Like this is one of those things. It's a guard for the Eagles, and no one's going to really talk about. No one's going to notice.
No, I mean he's
one of the better.
Starter,
he's one of the better guards in the league. He's at least, I would say, top 10, top.
And that is 10. The last thing that Carson Wentz needs to happen to him.
Have less protection. Yeah,
exactly.
That's unfortunate. And it's just, you know, it's one of those things to think about and know that, I mean, this happens every year. It's anywhere from 20 to 35 players get these kind of injuries, and you know, it hits randomly, it seems like. So that's one of the first that hit this year. Big one with coronavirus. It's funny with all the riots and social justice issues that are going on in the world right now. We forget there's still a pandemic going on.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate. Players from Houston and the Cowboys test positive for COVID.
Zeke,
yeah, and
Zeke got it.
And there was a report that Zeke was upset. He posted on Twitter talking about how, you know, he didn't feel like his information should have gone out there. And I couldn't agree more, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's HIPAA violation for his private information
that's what he
to be
said
out.
On his Twitter too.
But you know, it is what it is.
It's a day and age, man. News hits.
Yeah, it just happens. It's much more unfortunate when it's like a serious injury that like pictures of an X-ray gets out to the media and then the media posts it, and that's on the media. The media shouldn't be posting that kind of shit. You know, COVID virus. There's a lot of civilians out there that are getting COVID as well. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Really, really scary. And here's my question for you: does this change anything?
Yeah, I'm genuinely worried about the NFL season.
You think so?
Now, I am solely because, like, if you start having star power go down, I mean, look at what happened with the NBA. It was the early stages back whenever all this was kind of like up in the air. We don't know if this is legit or not. Mm-hmm. And Rudy Gobert supposedly had it, and he was going around touching Donovan Mitchell and everything in the locker room, playing coughing jokes on stuff. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh shit, he has it.
Yeah.
Oh God, our whole team has it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, we were on a plane playing against the Timberwolves, and then Karl Anthony Towns, his mom died from that. I mean, his mom passed away from coronavirus, and to think of, you just don't know where it started, and it was being handled so lightly, and now we see the way that the NBA just fell apart because of that. I mean, I would say maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks later, they played their last game. There is a chance that if this lingers on, I mean, it's something to be taken, serious.
Yeah,
I'd rather be serious with it than,
I absolutely agree with you, and we're seeing what's happening with the NBA with players, coming out and basically saying they don't want to do the season that they're talking about doing with Orlando and all that, which that's a whole nother story. This is a football podcast, so we're not going to get super into that. But I do believe that the NFL season is going to go as planned. I really do.
What about fans in the stadium?
Fans are not going to be in the stadium.
Okay.
At this point,
we're having a different NFL experience.
It's going to be a different NFL experience, and we're actually going to get to another story based on fans in the stadium. But I do want to stick on this just for another second here. I first of all, I think we all knew that players were gonna get COVID, right?
Yes.
Like the way.
Well, it's only inevitable.
Yeah, and the way that training camp and everything happens, like, it's impossible for that not to happen. And I think, assuming that they're realistic and you know the way that they deal with it, there's almost every player is gonna accept that that's a possibility, and they'll probably still go to work. I do think there could be a small minority of veteran players that might decide to just, you know, hang it up. Maybe if they were wanting to play one more year and they don't want to add this extra risk to their, you know, to playing football and risking their body and all that, that could affect some players. Maybe. I'm not saying that will. I'm just saying it's a possibility, something to think about. But no, I think this was inevitable. I think we're gonna get a sandstorm of just news of players getting COVID, and really, what I think this does, and this is a really weird take, and kind of go with me on this because I think it's kind of it's something to note. They're going to be testing players 3 times a week for COVID, right? That's the plan.
I've seen that test too.
That's the plan. Yeah, so they're going to be sticking somebody all the way up their nose.
It's a brain licker.
Yeah,
man.
It's
not
a
good.
Brain licker. That's a good one. So 3 times a week, these guys are going to get it. It's just impossible. I mean, they're going to be asymptomatic, and
which is why I'm saying, do you not think the NFL would maybe push the season back?
If a player dies, yes.
Oh my God! If a player dies,
I'm saying I don't think a player's gonna die. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think a player's gonna die.
I don't either.
I don't. I think these are the most healthy people in the world. I think a coach could be at serious risk. You know, maybe an older coach. But I don't think the NFL will. I think there could be changes, but at this point, what I was trying to say is they're going to be testing. Players are going to get COVID. They're going to be in isolation for the 14 days. I think the one thing that we could look at from, you know, a fantasy football perspective and maybe more of a personal perspective, and this kind of gets away from the logistics of the league and all that. I know that I'm kind of going off topic a little bit. I believe the teams with the most depth are going to be in play this year. I think we're all going to look at, you know, because we do it every year. We look at the top of a roster.
You think it's really going to play into that this year?
I think it would not surprise me a bit if in week 14 Drew Brees gets diagnosed with COVID and he's out for 2 weeks, right? It would not surprise me a bit if in week 3, you know, Daniel Jones is out for 2 weeks, right? Like, just randomly throughout the league and throughout the year, we're just gonna have just random players being said, okay, you're not playing this week for whatever reason, on top of the risk of injury.
There is what they did in the NBA, because then you have to start backtracking. Okay, so and so had it here. Well, he played here, and he was on this bus, this hotel. He touched this person and this person and this person, and next thing you know, you're shutting everything down just because it spreads so fast. It's so contagious, and people are just.
Yeah, you're right, and then that could be a serious issue. You're absolutely right.
Like I said, I don't think it would happen, but I am worried about it because it's.
Yeah,
just the way that it is
now. No, I absolutely get it. But my point is, I do think, like, a team like the Patriots that are known for having depth as opposed to being top heavy in really any position, I think they're gonna have a small extra advantage this year. You know, different than other years, obviously.
Corona-gate.
Yeah, Corona-gate. Oh God. So, you know, that's just an interesting. I stand by that. I don't think it's gonna change anything. I think the NFL is gonna push to have this happen no matter what. The players would lose millions of dollars. The NFL would lose billions of dollars. I mean, we
lose a great product too.
Yeah, we lose a great product.
I'm ready for everything to get back to normal.
We'll lose, you know, so much money with all the ad revenue we generate on this show.
So much.
So I mean, that would be really unfortunate.
So much.
All right, so we'll move on. The big news that I wanted to tell you, I'm actually going to skip to that right now. There was a call with NFLPA with the NFL agents, right? And it's just kind of this random call that they do, I guess, monthly or whatever. The NFLPA is projecting losses of $3 billion, over $3 billion, if there is no fans in the stadiums this season.
I mean, that's a major economic part of football.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You have the fans, the concessions, the travel inside the city too. I mean, look at it from a
that's just the team.
That's just looking from a team aspect. Look at the
man. I'll be honest. I work at a hotel in downtown Nashville, where I got a lot of business from the passionate fans visiting Tennessee and going to the games. I mean, I remember the Friday and Saturday nights before a Titans game, a home Titans game.
I bet it was just popping.
I mean, and, you know, it was really a great experience for me to experience like Bills fans and how crazy Bills fans are. Bills Mafia came to the Omni Hotel, and they were in the bar. You know, I work at a bar, so you know, I can talk football with just about anybody. So it's like, you know, they're just cutting up with people, and you know, the Chiefs fans were so fucking awesome. I remember, you know, talking to them, and of course, you know, Patrick Mahomes is in town, and that was super cool. Yeah, they had every right to be. I mean,
got Pat,
yeah, man. But they, you know, they're Missouri people. Like they were the coolest people, honestly. Like I sat with a bunch of people that were like from the same office, and their boss brings them to close games that they can drive to pretty much, and just the coolest motherfuckers. And they're just all excited to go to the Chiefs game, and you know, it's just cool to meet people that are so passionate.
So all in all, there's a lot of money that's going to be lost.
There's a lot. Yeah, I'm going to lose a lot of money. Yeah, that's kind of where I went off topic a little bit there. Sorry. All right, so yeah. That's unfortunate. We'll see what happens. I think, could they do half capacity? Is that realistic?
Man,
is that a thing?
I don't know how it's going to go down.
I mean, could you, because, you know, you're at work right again. I'm still waiting to come back.
Yep.
But, you know, it's every other booth, every other table is open. So that's the 6 feet.
You know, I think it just depends.
Is it possible?
I think it just depends on where the numbers go with coronavirus, and you know, it's just
hopefully it dies down.
You got to look at it. Right now, no one is big on big social gatherings, and that is one of the biggest ones you can have.
Yeah.
And just think about the difference in atmosphere and play if you go to play at Seattle and there's no 12th man.
Yeah.
I mean, there is such a big difference in having to go travel to some of these hostile environments.
New Orleans takes away from New
Orleans, the Superdome. I mean,
and I would say, you know, Philadelphia is still be rough because Philadelphia is outside, cold weather, and Philly, you know,
you could get stabbed anywhere. That's true. I mean, it's rough.
Yeah, you can. It's true.
It's rough. Philly fans are savages. That's the only thing that I take away from it.
I'm not arguing.
Do not mess with Philly fans.
You got me on that one.
They were climbing street poles and jumping off buildings and stuff.
Eating, after they won the Super Bowl, there were people that were eating horse shit.
What?
Yes, you didn't see that?
No, they were not.
They were eating horse shit after the
God.
Super
No, they
Bowl.
were not. Right. I would eat horse shit. If the Vikings win the Super Bowl this year, I will eat horse shit. There you go.
Yeah?
That's on record.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
I've never rooted more hard for a team. All right, that's going to be everywhere I heard. All right, so we'll move on. Kyle, you'll eat horse shit if the Vikings...
You said other people do it when their team wins. I mean, I'm going to stick with
You just signed up for that, though.
Stick with fucking flow.
Because, like, if you said, would you eat horse shit to see the Dolphins win the Super Bowl? I would say yes. I would take one for my team.
So what's wrong with me? I would
eat horse shit. But you're not saying I'll do this for this. You're saying if the Vikings win the Super Bowl,
we've never won one.
I will eat horse shit. But like you're not upping the odds of anything happening.
No,
you're
I'm
just
celebrating by eating horse shit. I will be that ecstatic.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I've never gotten to see a Super Bowl win. I have nothing but heartbreak.
God, I can't wait. Oh man, but like, okay, so if the Vikings are in the Super Bowl,
I'll do it on video,
and it comes down to like the fourth quarter, you will absolutely. Do
and I will not be worried.
I knew that first of all.
I'm really calm right now. I'm telling you, I genuinely could do it. No problem. I would be so happy.
I really want to ask you because I know the answer, but you know, Vikings have the ball, 2 minutes left in the game, touchdown wins it, and you're rooting like hell for your team. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking,
I'm not.
In the back of your mind, you're thinking, if he just fumbles the ball right here, I don't.
It wouldn't be there. I love my team. It wouldn't be there.
I mean, I don't think it would be there for me either. But man, that's a good one.
I would celebrate like that.
All right. So the team that will give you a lot of trouble to win the Super Bowl this year for the Vikings, the 49ers, they extended Kyle Shanahan through 2025.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, that's a good one. Did you like that transition? That was pretty smooth, right? I know I ruined it by...
You go from horseshit to segue into the 49ers.
I know I ruined it by talking about the transition, but that was a pretty sweet transition.
It was good.
Can I get some comments on that, guys? YouTube, please? Anybody?
All right. It was clean.
All right, so that was crazy. And this, I have something that's a little bit pessimistic, and call me out for it if you want. Reports say that Alvin Kamara played through 3 injuries in the 2019 season. And I just wonder... how much do we believe these types of stories? Because we hear this all the time, right? We hear, oh, this player's, played through whatever injury, and you get this report. Can you not just say that if you had a bad year? Like you have a down year. I was hurt.
He didn't seem like himself last year. Maybe there was something that was.
First of all, I do want to preface that you're absolutely right. He didn't. I 100% believe the story. I'm just saying, in a very real way, like that just it feels like a weird thing to say in June. It just does.
No, for sure. I mean, I've never really liked that necessarily. It's almost like Jameis saying he got eye surgery after throwing 30 interceptions. It's like, you can just say you had a bad year, man. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was, though. I've heard that hamstring injuries, and I don't know what Kamara's was necessarily, but just take a hamstring, for example. I mean, that's something that you're just stretching wrong and it tweaks, and next thing you know, you just got to be out for a little bit. And then you get good, come back in for a few plays. You're just not the same. It's kind of back to your mind.
You can tweak it so easily. I absolutely get that, but it's like, I remember when Edelman, the issues with Edelman came out, he kind of got in trouble with the law, and then the next day, or maybe it was even the same day, the report comes out that, Edelman played with an injury last year. You know, like stuff like that. I just feel like why
the timing is off.
Yeah, I don't get why the story ever comes out in general. Mm-hmm. Like, it's cool if I'm a fan of the New Orleans Saints and I'm a fan of Kamara, I can look at that and be like, man, okay, cool. So he'll be back next year. You know, I'm a fantasy football guy. I can be like, okay, so maybe I shouldn't hurt Alvin Kamara's fantasy draft stock, just because he was hurt last year. He still has the same potential to, whatever, like stuff like that. I get that. I just think it's weird. I feel like these kind of stories happen way too often. Am I being pessimistic? Am I being crazy?
No, I mean, I don't think it's super crazy. It's not football related, but I can think of LeBron after J.R. Smith made that bonehead play and didn't shoot the ball in one of the finals. It was game 1. The KD Warriors and everything. Mm-hmm. You don't remember what I'm talking about. JR got the rebound off of a free throw, could have gone up, scored easy basket.
And he did.
Won game 1.
Yeah.
So they went into the locker room there right before overtime or wherever. Mm-hmm. LeBron punched the board and broke his hand, was the report that came out afterwards. So they said LeBron got swept in that series, didn't play as great as he normally does. And they said after the fact that he had a broken hand as a result. A lot of people didn't buy it. A lot of people didn't go for that. So, I mean, I get that. It's one of those things after the fact. It's like, why don't we hear about it whenever it's going on?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's like Kamara came out, just say he was banged up that game or something. I don't know. It's different.
Absolutely. Last news and note thing I have for you: Luke Kuechly joins the Panthers front office as a pro scout.
It's probably the healthy choice. He came in, made his money, left his mark on the game, and was one of the best linebackers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. All right, so let's move on to the Green Bay Packers. They were 13-3 last year. Obviously, went to the NFC Championship. Got a kind of a free ride to the NFC Championship, if we're being completely honest. But go to the NFC Championship, gets their butt whooped to the 49ers, and then you really think like they're going to come in the offseason and just retool, add a couple more pieces to really get themselves over the hump and be ready to like make a change, get back to that 13-3, get back to that NFC Championship
Super Bowl push
and push for that legitimate Super Bowl, right? And of course, we would look at their offseason and think that's exactly what they did, right?
Wrong. As a Vikings fan, I'm very happy in saying that the Packers botched this offseason. You don't go to the championship game, and I've said it so many times. You don't go to the championship game and draft a backup quarterback with your first-round pick when you still have the best quarterback in
the game. Yeah,
I mean, you can argue in the game. I would say division guaranteed. I would say that conference, it's up to debate, and of course, the entire NFL top 5. Aaron Rodgers probably has 3-4 more years of doing this at this level.
Yeah.
Why do you go get a backup there? Why do you do that?
Yeah, I don't get it. I love Jordan Love. I'm a big apologist for Jordan Love. I don't get that. I really don't get trading up to get him. Like, you needed this guy when there was, so many wide receivers. That was obviously their big need.
Then they go get A.J. Dillon in the second, and it's just like you have Aaron Jones. One of the bright points to that whole team was the way that everything kind of connected.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I loved A.J. Dillon. He was a great player. Why are you favoring the run game when you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league? You can do anything in the passing game. Do that. I mean, listen, I respect the teams that want to run the football and they want to run it well. I don't understand it when it's the Seattle Seahawks and what's looking like it's going to be the Green Bay Packers. Seattle Seahawks have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Why are they not tossing it all over the yard? The Titans, they want to run the football. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill's a fine quarterback. I'm not saying you can be a good quarterback on a running
Russell
football team.
Wilson, he's
He's not on that level. Like you can run your team through the running game, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Again, and it sucks because like from just looking at the players and knowing how I felt about them coming into the season, I knew I like a lot of the guys that they got. It's good, but like when we knew throughout the season that their worst position by far was the wide receiver position, right?
Everyone knew it.
They added Devin Funchess. That was their big add to fix the wide receiver position. And Devin Funchess, who gets hurt last year, he signs a 1-year deal with the Colts last season, gets hurt, I believe, in the preseason, if not very, very early on in the regular season, and then now signs with the Packers here. And that's your wide receiver. That's your big name wide receiver that you're going to add. You're not going to go into the most deep wide receiver class that we've probably ever seen since, I guess, the Odell Beckham
we're
class.
talking names on day 3 that came out that are going to be...
They're going to be really good, right? And, it's early. We can't say that. But, like, coming into the draft, we knew that was the position. Every single team should have gotten a shot at one of those players from that position. And this is arguably the biggest need for your team, arguably the biggest need of any team, like, was wide receiver. I don't think there was another team that needed a wide receiver more than the Green Bay Packers, and they don't get one. Instead, they go running back in the second. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, to pass on Denzel Mims, to pass on T. Higgins, because I know all the other guys went before that, but it just didn't make any sense to me. And you have your voice, you have your leader, your guy, Aaron Rodgers, who is constantly, I mean, I wouldn't even say hinted. He's been pretty upfront about wanting other weapons around him, saying, what did he say? He said, I was the last offensive first-round pick that we took.
That's crazy.
That's sad.
Ain't crazy. Yeah, no, absolutely agree.
Skill position wise. I mean, it's just like, come on, now you know that you need another guy like Devontae Adams, great receiver. But man, if I dare you to tell me that Geronimo Allison or Valdez Scantling or Anthony Lazard are anything other than just Aaron Rodgers making them somebody.
Yeah, no,
I stand by that.
I absolutely agree. I couldn't agree more with any of that. I really don't even feel like I need to say anything because I'd just be echoing what you said. As far as free agents that they drafted, and really nobody of note. I mean, they added some depth pieces in a lot of different spots, but other than Devin Funchess, I don't think there's going to be a lot of names that you would know. There's not a lot of names I really know, I'll be honest with you. And I don't say you, I mean, like,
and looking at last year at them at 13-3 too, I said it. That's historically an incredible year.
Yeah.
But it didn't really feel like a 13-3.
I will say they were the worst 13-3 team of all time. And I don't know that for sure, but man,
I mean, they got their teeth kicked in by the Chargers.
They get their teeth kicked in by the Chargers, but every single week, like they were struggling against bad teams. Like they were losing to the Lions for 3.5 quarters.
The Bears got them. Yeah,
the Bears were really close. I mean, and granted, these are division rivals, and that can get murky. But man, I mean, yeah, they played a lot of rough games. Nothing was really pretty, and it just looks like what they want to do is turn the Green Bay Packers into a running football team. I get that if you don't have one of the best fucking quarterbacks we've seen ever. I mean, just talent-wise, he can do it all. And at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers just must be the biggest prick in the world. that a new staff comes in and they're just already trying to get him out the door.
Oh, seriously.
I mean, it's just so it's strange and
so crazy to see how similar it is with the Brett and that Aaron Rodgers thing. Whenever he came on the scene and Brett was ticked off at Aaron Rodgers, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to step up and help Jordan Love? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he'll be respectful of him. Jordan Love will pick up a lot of things from him. Where do you see the next year? Because a lot of times they say in a coach's second year is where you see the most growth and a really good successful push. Yeah. But at 13-3, going to the NFC Championship game, any higher than that?
No, I don't. Listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't really love the hire to begin with the Packers head coach.
You didn't like LaFleur?
I didn't love it. And my reasoning was fairly.
He's a good offensive mind.
Yeah, so he comes from the Rams. He was the quarterbacks coach for the Rams for one season. When it was what's his name's first year, Sean McVay's first year. Goes to the Titans as the offensive coordinator, and the Titans' offense wasn't good.
So you think he's living off?
He didn't innovate. The play calling wasn't great. There's nothing about the Titans' offense we're talking about the 2018 season, that was special to me. And I would say that their Titans' offense got a lot better in 2019 as far as the way they played, the way they wanted to run the football, and and a lot of this is kind of nitpicky. but I didn't see anything special. It wasn't like he was this young, like he gets labeled as this young hotshot, offensive mind, and I never saw that. I just didn't. So then he goes to the Packers and he gets this premier job. I mean, like one of the best jobs in the NFL.
Work with Aaron Rodgers.
Period. Yeah. I mean, you get to work in Green Bay. You get to be a part of that historic franchise. I mean, there's just not a lot of people that get to say that. And I feel like that should mean something. Like there's a certain franchises in the NFL that means something. You're about to be. It's very similar to being a Steelers head coach. Very very similar to being a Cowboys head coach. It just has a different lure. It used to be that way for the Dolphins, not so anymore. I mean, you go through.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So that's just how I feel about it anyway. And I just feel like he shit the bed. I don't want to say he shit the bed. I feel like the way that they want to turn this football, the way that they want to play football, just does not make sense to me. The way that they're trying to turn this offense, turn this roster into a roster that fits for LaFleur, as opposed to making his scheme fit for the roster that he has, fit for the skill talent that he has at quarterback. It's just unfortunate. It just is what it is. I know we talked about that.
No. What if I put them at 11.5 wins?
So they are at 10.5. So
10.5 is the number.
So 10.5 is the number. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. At 10.5, oh man, that's tough. I go under.
Wow, under?
Under at 10.5. I just, that's tough. Can we pull up the games? I mean, can we do that?
Yeah, we can look at it.
It's our show. We can do whatever we want. All right, so I'm going to talk just for a second while you pull it up. And I'm really, really, really excited to take a nap because I'm tired. I've been awake for a long time.
You have been awake for a long time.
I don't have anything else to say about the Packers, man.
So,
I'm just disappointed.
They got some hard games. We cross over with the NFC South.
Okay.
So the Falcons, the Saints, the Bucks, all that good stuff. It's kind of hard. They have a road test with the Texans, so we also do the AFC South as well.
Okay.
So Titans, Jags, Texans, Colts thing. I don't know. I mean, we'll start it off. Packers, Vikings, week 1 at the Vikings. I think we're coming out swinging. I think they haven't beat us yet in our home.
That's gonna be a great game. I think
in
that
our
game
new house.
That game will do a lot to tell me where I feel about both these teams. And at this point, and talking about it in June, I don't know, man. I want to give it to the Vikings.
To it either way. I mean,
yeah. Let's split for the Vikings, or let's split that series either way. So it doesn't matter. Okay.
Lions go to Green Bay. They're gonna lose there. So we'll say 1-1. Packers play the Saints at the Saints.
Oh, you think they beat the Lions, right? Okay.
Yes, lost to the Vikings.
I don't think they can beat the Saints. I don't think they're better than the Saints.
Wow, 1-2. Falcons, Packers, 2-2.
Okay, sure.
Packers, Buccaneers. It's a revamped Buccaneers team.
Man, I'm looking at this roster, and I'm just going to be really honest with you. I think the Falcons, that's going to be a tough game. I could see them losing. Just going through, like, conventional wisdom, I see them losing
on the roster, yeah. I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to take you as far as he can take you, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think the Packers can beat the Buccaneers. I think the way the Packers play football versus the way I expect the Buccaneers to play football, I mean, I'm going to give it to the Packers. I am, but I don't know. Okay. Texans, yeah, that's one of those games where it's like I could see either team winning. Again, it's gonna be a good game. Seeing Deshaun Watson go up against Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna say the Packers just for.
So they're 4-2 and 4-2 up against the Vikings.
Okay, so 5-2. They're Packers, not beating the 49ers. That's gonna be one of those games that gets advertised as a big game and be a blowout.
They got a pretty easy schedule coming right here though, from what I'm looking at.
Okay.
So, they're at 5-3 going into the Jaguars. Packers are gonna win that one. They're 6-3 Colts. I think they beat the Colts. 7-3. They play the Bears. They're going to beat the Bears. 8-3. They play the Eagles. I think they can beat the Eagles. We're talking 9-3 now. Technically, where's the slip up coming? They play the Lions next week. Oh God, they play the Panthers the week after that, and the Titans and the Bears. They got a really, really good end to that year.
Yeah.
They can start firing all cylinders. I mean, and there's a way that, like I said, I mean, the Packers came at it last year at 13-3. I will say over.
Okay, you'll say over. I'm going to stick with under. I think they're a 10-6 football team, so at 10.5, I'm going to say under. 10-6, final answer. Let's move on to the Vikings.
Yeah.
You go with it?
I'm here.
All right, so of course, everybody should know this is your team. I'm wearing the Vikings shirt in solidarity with you, but it's not my team. All right, so a lot of free agents moves, right? They lost a lot of players in free agency. Linval, we don't usually talk about who the players they lost, but I mean, it's just so important for the Vikings. Linval Joseph, Trey Waynes, Everson Griffin, still not signed. That could change, but he's not on the roster right now. Xavier Rhodes. I mean, we talk about Mackenzie Alexander. They lost their entire quarterback room, basically. Cornerback room, excuse me. They lose David Morgan, a good tight end for them. I mean, that's the main players that they lost. A lot of good guys, a lot of tough players to replace.
Our defense took a shot, secondary wise, especially. I mean, it was one of those things we knew going into the draft. That is what I like about the Vikings management, though, is that we knew going into and the Stephon trade. We can talk about
I was just about to get there.
So, we knew we needed something in the secondary. We knew we needed something at the wide receiver. And we made the moves.
Yeah, and I want to applaud the Vikings because I think they're one of the most underrated drafts of this year.
I loved it.
You look at their draft; they got so many picks from the Bills for Stephon Diggs. They came out like bandits on that.
Yeah.
So they get 2 first-round picks, a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, 3 4th-round picks, 2 2nd-round picks, and then 4 7th-round picks along with a 6 as well. So a lot of opportunities to add depth in the second half of the draft and add some starters in the first half. Let's kind of go down the list because I think this is where I could see a story where a lot of these guys hit right off the bat, and this turns into a team that surprises a lot of people because I don't think anybody's looking for the Vikings to be super good. I would say we're trending
down lately.
Yeah. So Justin Jefferson in the first round,
home run
to trade, and that was from the Bills, to trade Stephon Diggs, who was gonna have to get paid, who didn't want to be there, for Justin Jefferson, who I would say has the higher ceiling at this point. I could see Justin Jefferson being better than Stephon Diggs.
If that's true, because I can't go out there and say that because I've seen Stephon and his route running is legendary almost when it comes to the way he's able to get separation.
That's a bold statement. I'm not saying he will be. I'm saying there is that
I'm
possibility.
saying if there's a chance. I mean, that's what you look for in that. When I was pleased whenever the Eagles took Jalen Reagor because I knew exactly where we were going, and when we did it, oh my gosh, yes, we have somebody.
You were more excited. You were more than just pleased. You were incredibly excited. We watched that together.
One of my favorite picks.
Yeah, of course. So second pick in the first round, they go and get Jeff Gladney, the cornerback from TCU, and that was a good pick. They traded down, got some more picks with that trade as well. They get Ezra Cleveland in the second round, which that was right in his range. People were talking about Ezra Cleveland in the first round, which would have been crazy. So there's this bad taste in everybody's mouth who listened to a lot of draft talk about Ezra Cleveland.
Yeah.
And when you talk about draft value as a center or a tackle from Boise State in the second round, good pick. I think he can be a spot starter right away, and I think there's a good chance of him securing a starting job in the first year.
I mean, I hope. I was upset mainly about that pick, not because of Ezra, but I was comparing the Trent Williams because that was
you
the
wanted
pick.
Trent.
Well, we offered that pick to the Niners or to the Redskins, and he said no. And then he goes for a few picks later. It was a worse deal, but is what it is. Ezra, I hope it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Cameron Dancer,
love Cam Dancer. I think
he's
one of those gritty guys that's going to fit right in Zimmer's system.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
You're about to knock his speed, aren't you?
I am. 4.64 is so scary to me.
Man, I'm telling you, he's not going to have to come out there and guard the ones, though. He's not going to
and that's a good part, but I mean, is he not? Y'all lost your entire cornerback room. I mean,
no, I mean we got Mike Hughes a few years ago out of UCF.
That's true.
He was kind of banged up.
True.
I mean,
I agree, and of course you're going to have to rely on Gladney as well.
Yeah,
Cameron, it's just a speed at 4.64. That just scares me so much, but we'll see. Very physical. A good player. If he gets his hands on you, I feel like it's over. He's going to be great against the Alshon Jeffrey type of players in the league.
He is known for shutting down Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
he's the one who shut him down.
Yeah, he did. And I get that. That was a great play or a great game for him. Absolutely. And I feel like probably the big reason he was drafted this early. To be honest. All right. We could go through the rest of the draft, but that's not really the point of this. They got a lot of players from a lot of different positions. Hopefully, you get some talent out of it. And we're looking at the Vikings as a 10.5 as well. 10.5 over under. Where do you put them?
Like I said, the Packers at over at 10.5, and I have the Vikings also at over at 10.5. Of course, I think we are both going to finish at 11-5. I think we're going to have some weird tiebreaker where we control it and we win the division.
Nice.
Get our crown back.
So you're saying Vikings win the division?
Yes.
I would disagree. I think the Packers are probably going to win the division.
It's fine. Listen. It's a homer take. You can bash me in the comments. You can say what you want. This is my team at the end of the day, and I stand by our moves that we make. And the thing is, because I try to not be oblivious, but if the Packers would have made more moves in the right direction, I can't help but think that last year, if you were to go look at it statistically about how many one possessions, or if this went that way or that went that way, I mean, they could have easily lost some games, and next thing you know, we're looking at an 11 win or a 10 win.
Yeah, it's one of the best predictive models for future success is going back and looking at all of the one possession games, and basically saying these are coin flips. Like if it was a one possession game, you could have just as easily lost, and those type of games will regress to the mean. So you see a lot of teams like the Titans, unfortunately, are one of those teams where they won a lot of games, one possession games. There's the theory that will go regress back to the mean, and they will lose more of those. Well, that's the thought,
because if you're 13-3 off of that and you win 7 out of 9 of those close ones, you can only think that next year, if you have so many close ones,
you might win.
Now, some people are different. Some people like their team to be battle tested and hardened and ready to go. I would attribute that to Seattle a lot. Seattle's in a lot of close, tough, hard-nosed games, and that is good. That's a good quality to have. But still, it's just one of those coin flip things. Like I said, I think we're going to be able to battle through the series, and hopefully split with Green Bay and then take care of business with the Bears and Lions, no problem. I don't see anyone out of the AFC South really scaring us.
Yeah.
I really don't.
No,
there's a chance. Of course, I'm hopeful for my team. I really want to see the run game take off with Dalvin. I want to see our offensive line improve. And I want to see Kirk. I want to see Kirk do well. I want to see
Kirk improve. I think just from a fantasy standpoint, and this is kind of getting off topic completely, Justin Jefferson is going to be one of the most valuable fantasy football players out there. I mean, you can just pencil him in for whatever Stephon Diggs had.
2, yeah.
And it's just such a clear thing. And I know that's an oversimplification. I get that. But he's the same kind of type of player. They relied on that type of guy last year. It just makes too much sense to me. I think he's going to be super valuable.
One of our favorite formations is where we do the double stack tight ends, and then we only run 2 receivers, which was normally because we didn't have the depth, so that's what we ran.
Yeah.
Thielen, and it was Diggs. Now it's going to be Jefferson. He's out there. He's going to be the number 2, and he's going to be getting the majority of the snaps.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree there. Anything you want to say about the Vikings? Because I agree with you on a lot of points.
Tell me your over under. What do you think?
Over under. I'm going to say under. Yeah. And granted, I said under with the Packers as well.
Is it playoff caliber?
Yeah, I think they're 9-6.
9-7.
9-7. Excuse me. Thank you. 9-7, and I think they probably just missed the playoffs, and that's kind of just it's because the NFC is tough, and
that's disappointing.
I get it. I know. I'm sorry. I just look at the teams you play, and I know you said
when I think
AFC
of the
South.
big dogs in the NFC. I do not think of the Packers. I'm sorry. I'll say it. Call me what you want. I don't put the Vikings up there either. Listen, I'm not crazy. I'm not putting the Vikings up there.
I get that.
I look at the Saints, Seattle, 49ers.
Rams could get back into it.
No, Rams
could get back into it.
Stop.
Okay, like if we're going to be really realistic about the NFC right now, the Rams had a bad year because their running back was hurt all year, and they built their offense about behind a running back. Excuse me. The Rams aren't that far away. Are not that far removed from a Super Bowl push. They were the team to beat 2 years ago. You can't tell me they can't make a comeback.
Defensively, they have good players. They have a lot of stuff, but they're known for going out and making the most ludicrous moves that just don't chemistry mix.
I agree. I don't appreciate their team building.
Okay, so you have them as one of your big guys.
I'm saying
we also have the newcomer Bucks. We don't know where that's going to shape up.
That's kind of where I was going with. There's a lot of teams that can be, and that's all I'm saying. So just the Rams can be. The Bucks can be.
The Cowboys should be.
Cowboys should be. We've never seen it, but they should be.
They should be.
I mean, yeah, so that's 3 teams right there that I think legitimately could be that team. Packers could be.
Well, the Packers are a good team. I'm saying elite, though. They were 13-3 going into the championship game, and it felt like no one gave them a chance to beat the Niners. And what happened? Niners took care of business. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do understand that. Look, I could be easily wrong. This could switch, and I could change my mind on this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just right now thinking about it and the research that we did for this video, I just don't see the Vikings winning this division, and I feel bad because the Green Bay Packers feel like the team that would get upended, and to me, like it would not surprise me a bit if the Vikings did it. It wouldn't surprise me too much if the Lions or Bears just came out of nowhere this year. Granted, I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying it happens every fucking year. Every fucking year, there's a couple teams that switch everything up. It changes so fast from year to year. I mean, the Bears were at the top of the division 2 years ago, so it wouldn't shock me, is all I'm saying. We
wow.
I think that's fair, right? I mean, any team can pull away.
I'm not giving away hints into the next two teams that we're going to talk about because I think both of them are going to be under for me.
That's fair. Look, the Bears.
Whatever their win-loss is.
Do you want to go to the Bears now? Because I mean, the Bears are the one.
Or whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, the Bears are the ones I don't think are going to do it. They're 8-8. They were 8-8 last year. Their over/under is 8 wins.
They really did 8-8.
Yeah, they did 8-8 last year.
How'd they pull that out?
Yeah, I mean,
I heard so much bad news about him, so much bad stuff about just Trubisky and everything. Under 8.5.
Their defense is really good. First of all, their defense is really good. Their offense is boring. Their offense sucks. I'll be perfectly honest with you. And you can blame some of it on Trubisky. You can blame a lot of it on their coach. I just don't believe in him.
I like the weapons they have, though. I really do.
And they haven't utilized
just drafted a Cole Kmet. You have Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller.
I get it. They just haven't utilized it, and it's unfortunate. And they could change, and maybe they were just a tight end away. But I mean, I just don't believe it.
Oh, they're not just a tight end away.
Yeah, so I just don't get it. I feel like they want to do too many things, and they want to get cute, and they just don't play football. It's like you can try and be the Chargers and do what Andy Reid does. Or the Chiefs and do what Andy Reid does, but like there's a lot of nuance that comes into that offense as well. He's just not just picking plays out of a hat,
Yeah.
So I have a big issue with the way they play football. I don't think the Bears are going to be the team that surprises us. I don't believe they'll be the team that surprises us until that organization moves on.
The best thing that I see out of him is Nick Foles, and I mean, I'm going to say it. Like I said, we've seen flashes from Trubisky. I just don't think he has it. I don't think he has what it takes to be a true franchise guy, and I don't think Nick Foles is that either, but we know what Nick Foles can do.
Yeah.
We keep trying to see what Trubisky can do, but it's always so wishy-washy, you just don't know. Nick Foles can run an efficient NFL offense. He can do it well. He can run a read. RPOs is what helped them win the Super Bowl that year. I mean, he ran it to perfection. You have a decent running game, a solid offensive line, good wide receiver weapons, and elite defense. So what I do is I let my defense play the game for me, and I trust Nick Foles to go out there and do his job. Maybe you put up 24 points. You should win that game, hopefully.
Listen, I get that, and I believe in Nick Foles to an extent, and we're actually going to talk about that a little bit more in a future segment. I don't want to give that away too much, and I don't want to kind of cross myself because I have a different kind of take for the future segment. But no, I think at the end of the day, when you talk about the Bears and you talk about any team that has two quarterbacks that are fighting for the one job, if you have two quarterbacks, you probably just have one quarterback, and unless you're one of the lucky few that has two legitimate starting quarterbacks. Can we really say that? Because we on this pod, we champion Nick Foles as the ultimate backup quarterback, the best backup quarterback we've ever seen. And you have to be a backup quarterback to earn that title. And, he constantly is so close to being that guy, and he's going to get a lot of chances because of that Super Bowl run because, he got hurt last year. He doesn't know excuse. There's not really a reason that he lost that job. Just, Minshew Mania came in.
You can't help the circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. And they paid him.
My point is less on Nick Foles, more on Trubisky. I'm not saying Nick Foles is up here. I'm saying both of them are like Foles is here, Trubisky's there. I'm not saying either of them are A+.
I get that, and maybe they can build themselves up. As far as what they did this year, they made a lot of moves. They signed Ted Ginn. They released Trey Burton. That
was a failed experiment.
Yeah, that was a failed experiment. I believed in that. I feel stupid for that one. That was the extent of the big moves they made in free agency. Oh, they signed Robert Quinn. Excuse me, I missed that one. They had a couple of other big moves. They signed Robert Quinn to a 5-year contract worth $70 million, $30 million guaranteed to a 30-year-old defensive end.
Yeah, I know.
If you are listening to this, if you are watching this, please tell me that I'm not alone in thinking that's the craziest bullshit ever.
They had money,
please.
Man. I don't know.
What? Why?
The last spot that I thought that they would have needed is something else on that. I mean, and you have a great line.
I get it. Robert Quinn had a good year last year with the Cowboys. He's probably going to have an okay year next year with the Bears. He was never worth $70 million on a 5-year deal. What the fuck makes you think he's going to be playing for 5 more years?
This one got you heated.
I don't get it.
You don't like Robert Quinn. Is it because he played for Miami and didn't do nothing?
He's fine.
That's what it is.
He's fine. I get it. He's fine. That's all he was. He's fine. He's not a special talent anymore. He was really, really good with the Rams for a couple years.
He was.
he gets hurt. He struggles a little bit, and he's not the same. And yes, he goes to the Cowboys, has an okay year, but he's also playing opposite a really good player.
But he gets to do that in Chicago as well.
He does.
Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack.
He does, but why are you paying the guy who's playing opposite the guy who's really making the difference? I just don't get, because you're paying him as the premier defensive end at this rate, right?
For that money, no joke. I mean, I would say that is top 15 money at that position. Yeah. And he is not that.
No, I absolutely agree. So, they acquired Nick Foles. It's on my list. They signed Jermaine Ifedi, offensive lineman, so that could be interesting. They get Artie Burns.
Jimmy Graham.
They get Jordan Lucas. They signed Jimmy Graham.
There we go.
Which you and I disagree on that one heavily. I think that is...
I got the dub because Trey Burton wasn't shit. Jimmy Graham.
Trey Burton doesn't have to be shit for Jimmy Graham to be old and outdated, in my opinion.
I'm going to justify my argument however I feel need.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
I think Jimmy Graham's hated on,
Yeah, no, I get that. All right, so as far as the draft, they do draft Cole Kmet in the second round. Excuse me, they didn't have a first round pick.
Missed that on that.
So Cole Kmet, the 43rd pick, and then Jalen Johnson with the 50th pick. Really
One
good
of my
draft.
favorite cornerbacks.
Yeah, I think a really good draft for a team that had 2 picks inside the first 4 rounds. Hit it out of the park.
Yeah. Well, Cole Kmet, too. I mean, I think he's more than just a tight end. I think when you look at his athletic ability, I mean, everyone already kind of scripted him to the Patriots or some system like that.
We did, yeah. We spent a lot of time talking about that.
Where he could play this Gronk type. So let's take him for what we thought he was going to be. What if he truly is that Gronk type on Chicago?
Yeah.
I mean, that would give whoever that quarterback is, it would really help out Trubisky.
Yeah.
Give him something across the middle whenever he's panicked. I mean, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Throw to him.
I get that, and I absolutely agree. Look, there's a world where the Bears are really good, and the Bears are able to make a difference this year. I personally don't think it's going to happen, but that's just me.
I mean, that's fine. I agree with you.
At 8, we both agree under, though?
Yes, under.
All right. And then we're going to talk about the Lions. This is probably even a stupider signing. We got to go through the signing. So they were 3-12-1 last year, the greatest 3-12-1 team that we have ever seen. I will absolutely maybe the only, yes, but easily the best, and a team that's expected to do better this year. They're 6.5 wins, so that's an interesting one. Yeah, that's interesting.
Patricia saved his job last year. I mean, the team showed that they rallied around him and they can fight.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of their signings. They made some moves here. They signed Jamie Collins. They signed. I'm going to actually wait on this because we're going to talk about that one for a second. So they get Chase Daniel as a backup quarterback.
Danny Shelton is a great defensive
Danny Shelton is a great player. Desmond Trufant they added, cornerback. I mean, they spent some money out here. They really did. Reggie Ragland signed. I mean, Geronimo Allison signs with them, which is nothing, but whatever. That's great. And they didn't lose a whole lot. They lost a backup quarterback in Jeff Driscoll. I mean, they lose A'Shawn Robinson. That was a tough one. No. Yeah, no, they did lose A'Shawn Robinson. Sorry, I'm misreading my own notes.
He was one of their defensive tackles.
So I'm misreading my own notes there. Sorry. And then I have to talk about this. Halivude Valivitai, the offensive tackle for the Eagles, and he was the 6th lineman for the Eagles. Signs a 5-year, $45 million contract. What the fuck is it with the NFC?
His claim to fame was when Jason Peters went down, right?
Yeah. So first of all, what the fuck is it with the NFC North specifically overpaying these guys that are not nearly worth that? We're talking about a guy who
Don't you say Kirk Cousins?
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Kirk Cousins was a fine deal, I guess. Whatever. But with Hollywood Vita, I get it. It's really stupid to get worked up about an offensive tackle, but this is a guy who was a backup for the Eagles, came in and helped out when Jason Peters gets hurt for the in the Super Bowl, right? The Super Bowl year, what was it? At 18, they win, and Holly Vitae was the starting tackle when they won the Super Bowl, and he came in and he played serviceable. He really did. In 2019, the next year, he was a disappointment on the football field. He wasn't good. He was never good. Trust me, guys, man.
People take a Super Bowl win and they run with it.
I watched a lot of Eagles games. I did. A couple really good friends of mine that live in Nashville with me. They're Eagles fans, so we watch some Eagles. We watch the Eagles when we drink beers. I mean, that's what we do. So I can tell you from personal experience, dude's not good. Dude's a good backup. He's a great number 6 tackle. I'm sorry. I told you at the beginning of the show that I'm going to be sleep deprived. I'm officially 24 hours without sleep. I can't speak anymore.
You get heated on Robert Quinn and Vitae.
I just don't get it. Explain it to me. Why are you spending $45 million on a sixth-string tackle?
I'm not going to justify it or say it was right.
He's
I'm
the
just
swing
saying
tackle.
That players are able to take a Super Bowl win and keep that under them and then hold that ticket up and be like, it's time for me to get paid. It happens. It's just part of it. I mean, I already thought the Lions had a really good offensive line, probably one of the most underrated out there. I like their line.
Vitae gets 5 years, $45 million, and Dalvin Cook is struggling to get $13 million a year.
Listen, when you put it like that, yes, it's ludicrous.
Robert Quinn is getting 5 years, $70 million with 30 guaranteed. and Le'Veon Bell had to hold out a year to get paid in his prime. I mean, I just whatever, man. I'm sorry.
It's pretty disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
5 years, $70 million. I mean, because what, $12 million would be 60. So that is looking at a little bit over $13 million. That's exactly what Dalvin wants, and that's for a 30-something-year-old Robert Quinn.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I don't get it. I don't know why they do it.
Now I know you're not defending it. I'm venting, man. This is my.
I'm venting.
I see these articles and I'm at the computer and I'm just like, oh, that's stupid. And then I get to go over here and I get to yell at somebody other than myself. All right, so we'll keep moving here. They get Jeff Okudah with the 3rd pick in the draft out of Ohio State, of course, all-star pick. They take DeAndre Swift in the 2nd round.
Shocker too. That was
shocker.
Different.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. All-star pick. They had Kerryon Johnson, but he's often
also banged
injured.
up sometimes.
Yeah. So that's a tough one. Julian Okwara, and I want to get your thoughts on him.
I love Okwara.
Okwara, excuse me, Julian Okwara.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on it, and we'll actually stop there because a lot of these other names they're day 3 guys. We won't talk too much about them. Julian Okwara, 3rd round pick. 67th overall, and you knew I did my draft profile on every single player or every single team, 32 videos, and I just mass produced them, put them out on YouTube, and I knew I was going to get a lot of pushback on certain opinions because I'm going to be honest with myself and honest with my evaluations of players. And Julian Okwara was easily the most shit that I got on. I mean, and I don't get a lot of negative, I don't get a lot of thumb downs on my videos. But the Lions video, if you go look at it, has a lot of negative comments, a lot of thumbs downs. Yeah, because I kind of just said how I felt. Julian Okwara is not.
So
I didn't value him in the 3rd round.
as a one-trick pony that's just a speed rusher?
Yeah, I didn't look at it. I didn't see him anywhere near a top 100 pick, and I don't have. I didn't see him.
I like his athletic ability. I like his body. I like his frame.
He couldn't win against Georgia. He was just. I
don't think you can equate some of the college stuff. Now let's look at that Georgia O-line. That's one of the. I mean, that is an NFL caliber offensive line. Almost.
Yeah, and I think you should be able to beat NFL caliber offensive line if you're going to be drafted as a starting defensive end in the league.
I think he is going to be able to have some success coming off of Trey Flowers and some of those young linebackers and Gerard Davis. I mean, he's a really talented pick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good players out there.
There's a lot of good.
Rush out there.
I was truly shocked because I knew you liked him.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and it's a great story. He signs with his brother, and I didn't know that until I was very respectfully told that, in all caps.
I'm sure.
So I didn't know that, but it's a cool story. That's awesome. Like that's great. I'm just not excited about the pick. That's such a minor thing. Doesn't really affect this conversation at all. I just wanted to.
So you're not going to say Quintez Cephas?
Quintez Cephas, yes, I know you're a big fan of his, right?
I'm not really a big fan of him.
I actually am. I actually missed that.
Some people low down would be like, he's kind of cool to get.
No, I actually do agree with that. Quintez Cephas was a guy I actually really liked, and so much so that I usually don't do a lot of research on the player themselves when I do my draft, when I do my my reviews on players and stuff like that, just because I try and go through so many. I just don't have time to look up their medical and stuff like that, just because, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for anybody professionally. So I actually had to look it up for him because I didn't get why I hadn't heard anything about him. I didn't get why there was no news on him, and I was just watching the film. I'm like, this dude's good. This dude can run. This dude can play some football, man. Off the field issues I didn't know about. So so that's probably why he landed in the 5th round. You're right. That could be a steal. That could be a true steal for them in the 5th round. It absolutely could be. I think that was a great pick. Over-under? Over-under was 6.5.
Man.
It's tough. These over-unders are tough.
Well, I mean, because oh gosh, I already have. See, they were a team last year, when you look at it, they had a lot of swing games too. They have a really, really, really good game with the Chiefs where they battled. Matt Stafford was banged up too, and before he was banged up, a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
He was balling like no other. He was putting up MVP numbers. I think he's one of the unsung heroes of the league.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I 100% agree.
So, I mean, if he's able to do that, Carry-On stays healthy, DeAndre Swift's able to get something going, I mean, I see a way where they're able to win 7.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say over for the Lions. I really believe
I'm not going to bet on that.
No.
Don't touch that.
I will say, last season, I do my over-under bets, and I bet the under for the Lions last year, and I believe it was at 5 or 5.5. I can't remember exactly. And 3 or 4 games into the season, I was like, well, I'm losing that bet. And I actually won every single one of my bets on my over-unders last year. And I was like, nah, there's no fucking way. They're way better than 5 wins. There's no way I win that bet. And they just consistently just kept not winning football games in the most ludicrous ways. I feel like
they were banged up for a while.
Like I said, there's a reason I call them. They're the best 3-12-1 football team we've ever seen.
Yes, they are.
All right, so we'll move on. You're gonna say under there, and we will move on with the NFC North. That puts to bed the NFC North. We only have 2 more.
Wow, that's cool.
2, yeah, we flew through that.
AFC North, and
I don't even know what's next. I'm not gonna lie, it's too late. I will worry about that.
NFC West.
West, and then the AFC West. Yeah. All right, so let's get into some odds. All right, so I have this picture for you. And if you're on YouTube, I will put this on the screen so you can see it as well. On the podcast, I'll kind of just go through it. These are NFL MVP odds, and these are like the worst odds, right?
Jarrett Stidham?
Yeah, Jarrett Stidham's on there. And actually, the way I found this, and I actually want to kind of go through this with you a little bit. The way I found this is I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory that Jarrett Stidham is the best bet for a just a crazy what are the odds kind of pick for MVP.
Get the fuck out
listen,
of here.
And now this is
stop.
I
You're
had
just
a theory.
Trying to impress me.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Just hear me out. This first of all, this is before you can see this on the screen. Saquon Barkley's on this list. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan. All of those guys I would take before Jarrett Stidham if I'm betting on it. Josh Allen as well. I'm sorry, I missed that as well. All those guys I would take ahead of Jarrett Stidham if I'm betting on it. But my theory was, and this was before I looked it up, Jarrett Stidham's odds had to be astronomical, right? Because no one's seen him play an NFL game. But if you go back and you just watch how the offseason's played out, right?
Yeah.
The Patriots made no conceded effort to sign Tom Brady, right? They made no conceded effort to sign anybody else. They made no conceded effort to get a quarterback in the draft. And they didn't. It's not like they went out and got a backup that they could really believe in. They got the same backup they've had for years. Brian Hoyer, thank you. Jarrett Stidham. I mean, we watched him throw a little bit. I think he's a really good quarterback. Just to be perfectly blunt with you, I thought that coming out, I thought he was a lot better than the 4th round pick he got drafted as. I think that the Patriots see something in Jarrett Stidham. I think that Bill Belichick believes that he can win the Super Bowl with Jarrett Stidham. I believe that. I think Bill Belichick believes that because I don't believe Bill Belichick would come into hear me out. I don't think Bill Belichick would come into a season without a quarterback that he believes he can win a Super Bowl with.
I'm not saying that Bill Belichick's mentality is that, but listen, I'm an Auburn fan. War Eagle till I die. I love Jarrett Stidham. I really do. Out of Cam Newton, Nick Marshall, Jarrett Stidham, he had the most passing yards at Auburn out of those guys. That's kind of a little fun fact. But to even mention MVP talk,
I knew it was crazy. I'm not saying I expect this to happen. I'm saying
you were showing your sleep deprivation right now.
I'm saying if you bet $10, you win $500. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you throw $20 at it for fun.
And on this chart, wherever it is on the screen right now, you can point to. Also have Josh Allen, Saquon, Jimmy G, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey. Agreed.
Now this was a thought that I had when I was driving, and I was like, I wonder what Jarrett Stidham's MVP odds are. I think that would be an interesting conversation.
If he was
for the pod.
astronomically lower than anyone like a Saquon Barkley or something.
Listen, like I said, this segment right here turned from a Jarrett Stidham conversation, at least for the rundown.
Yeah.
This was originally supposed to be a Jarrett Stidham conversation, and then I saw this and I was like, this is interesting. Who do you think out of these guys? I get that. It's not Jarrett Stidham. I'm just saying. The argument, the theory that I had that brought this whole thing together was that I don't believe that Bill Belichick would make the moves he made in free agency, the moves he made in the draft. He had plenty of opportunities to go out and get a quarterback. Plenty of opportunities. There were a lot of quarterbacks out there.
I completely agree with you that Belichick likes Stidham. I think Stidham is a great fit for the Patriots system. I still think they're going to do some of the same things that they did with old Tom.
Yeah.
A lot of checkdowns, a lot of short routes. They're still going to try to run the ball and rely on that great defense.
Agreed. I understand.
Where does MVP come in on that?
I get that. You know that a lot of the MVP talk is just the best quarterback on the best team sometimes. So I think there's a fair conversation to be had.
When you got Pat Mahomes and Lamar out there, that thing is locked up for 4 years.
I agree.
Maybe more.
I agree. Listen, I was just saying throw $20 at it to win. And really, when I thought Jared Stidham, I thought the odds would be plus 10,000. I really did. So I thought it was like $10 to win $1,000. Like that's really what I thought it was. And I'm like, man, I would throw $10 out to win $1,000 on Jared Stidham because I think I could, there's everything's in the realm of possibilities with the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So so to get that out of the way, and also, we give him shit for his play at Auburn. I mean, he was playing.
What?
He gets shit for playing at Auburn or like his play at Auburn, but he played really well at Auburn. I thought.
Yeah, where's he just shit?
He had no offensive line. I feel like the media kind of gives him shit sometimes. Do you not?
No.
Okay.
He won the NFC. I'm talking.
We're
football.
on the same side then. I was defending him. I was defending his play at Auburn.
He won the SEC West his first year on the team.
Yeah.
He beat Alabama.
Okay.
The second year was disappointing.
I got you mad on that one.
Because you said he had a bad year.
No, I'm saying he played behind a terrible offensive line. He didn't get the opportunity to show his skill, I feel like. Or show all of his ability.
Yeah, I will not contest that.
So that's all I was going to say with that. All right, so of the guys on the list, I'm going to say it again. Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, or Jarrett Stidham, all at plus 5,000, right? So for 5,000, if you bet 100, you win $5,000. If you bet,
It's McCaffrey.
Yeah.
It's McCaffrey and everyone else.
Okay.
Based on last year, statistically, McCaffrey got disrespected. He should have been up there for something.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think a lot of times it just ends up being the quarterback on the best team. I'm surprised you didn't say Josh Allen as a flyer there.
I like Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen a lot. I'm big on the Bills this year. But Christian McCaffrey, you cannot go wrong there. The only reason that he didn't get it was because he's not a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that.
That's unfair. It's an unfair bias.
I absolutely agree with that. I think Jimmy Garoppolo being on this list is crazy. Not because of the talent. Again, this is just because Jimmy Garoppolo is a serviceable quarterback on a really good football team. You would think that alone would make you a little bit higher of a candidate, So I was a little bit surprised to see him on there. A little bit surprised to see the Ben Roethlisberger on there. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I was, I guess. I just
You're not going to say the athletic freak Saquon wigged you out any on that list?
Oh, that was a shocker. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like they put the best running backs in the league right now. So they put Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. So I at least get that. I'm just kind of looking because it's always a quarterback, right? So you want to bet on the. I absolutely agree. I genuinely am very interested in just putting $20 maybe on all of these because I don't have a lot of money to bet. But $20 on all of these just to have fun. I would put $20 on Saquon, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. Hope a running back wins it, and it'll probably be one of those three. You know. So I think that's fun. Who would you pick? You say Christian McCaffrey if you can't take a running back.
Can't take a running back. Out of those guys?
Yes.
Maybe a Josh Allen.
Josh Allen?
I think Big Ben's due for a good year this year. I think he's going to help the Steelers go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
There's definitely
once again, out of those guys, man, it's Lamar or Pat Mahomes. I know they're not even on the list, but that's who's winning MVP. It's over.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So we're going to move on. Fantasy football burning questions.
Yes.
All right. So first question for you.
Week, aren't we?
Huh?
Do you think we're running long this
week? We are running long this week, yes.
Who cares?
Because we have 2 more segments to go through. And we're actually at an hour, yeah. So, yeah.
We're fine.
We're fine. It is not almost 2 a.m.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine. All right.
Bring it on.
What do we expect from Corey Davis this year? Fantasy football-wise. This is a fantasy football conversation.
We're on fantasy segment.
Yeah.
So fantasy segment, bye. His average draft position is the 13th round. It is 13.06. So why are you not buying this? How can you let Corey Davis slip this far? Listen, last year it was disappointing. The year before that, disappointing. He was reached on in the draft. We all know that. But at the end of the day, the Titans declined his contract year. So they didn't pick up that option. He is now behind A.J. Brown, I would say, in the depth chart. So he is not constantly going up against that number 1 cornerback all alone with Mariota throwing to him. We get a full year to see Corey Davis with a good offense around him, and he's fighting to get big dollar and prove his name.
Yeah.
Buy that all day in the 13th round. I stand by it.
Yeah, I'm going to echo everything you just said. I 100% agree with you.
Some guys draft end at the 15th or 16th. We're talking that's how late it's going.
Yeah, flyer to have Corey Davis as a flyer on your bench. Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk flyer for me. I mean, there's definitely going to be some value there at some point. Let me ask you just if you had to pick fantasy numbers, and I know this is kind of out of your wheelhouse a little bit. I know you're not prepared for this part of the question. What do you expect from Corey Davis as far as like total points in a season? If he plays 16 seasons.
I mean, I can't give a number on fantasy points. I would expect him to have a 1,000-yard receiving year.
Oh, you do expect 1,000-yard receiving? Oh,
1,000-yard receiving, 6-7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good year.
It's a good year.
It's a really good year for a 13th round pick. Yeah,
I think AJ Brown's gonna do him in though. Okay. I think he's the guy this year. I think he's getting over 1,500.
So you think the Titans are really letting it loose with the ball?
Not necessarily letting it loose with the ball. I mean, I don't think it's that hard for Tannehill to get 3,000 yards passing, and I think if he does, it's going to come through those two guys. Okay. Not necessarily just them.
Yeah, it could be 3,500. That's not a crazy number at all. Okay, fair enough. All right, what Steelers wide receiver should we target this year? You can't pick Juju Smith-Schuster. We know that. What wide receiver? Who's the wide receiver two? Who should we be expecting?
Well, the argument is normally James Washington and Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
I'm going to sit here and tell you I would go with Deontay Johnson because for some reason Washington is trending higher. And I get that. Some people say he's the better player overall, but Deontay Johnson's ADP is 10.07. Mm-hmm. I'm talking 10th round, 7th pick in the 10th round. Mm-hmm. That's really cheap. If we have Big Ben who gets to come back into that offense and throw to all those guys and lead the team like he normally is able to, I'm taking every single wide receiver in that system. I would bump them up just a little bit more on that value.
Yeah.
10th round, I'm buying that. Any higher than that, I mean, if you go anything over the 7th, I think we're just kidding ourselves at that point. But Deontay Johnson's a good pick.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Where's James Washington? I'm sorry.
8. He's in the 8th round.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so yeah, I think that's a really good thought by you. As far as just my thoughts on that, I don't know. I think this is going to end up being very similar to the arguments that we had with the Green Bay Packers.
You're not going to say that one, I know.
Oh, no. I don't believe in Chase Claypool. That's just me. I know I'm going to get shit for that. I don't believe in Chase Claypool. That's just me. All right, so as far as those two guys, I do think those are the two guys we have to really talk about. I think this is going to be a very similar as far as fantasy football conversation. This is going to be similar to the Green Bay Packers last year. Who's the number 2? Yeah. Who's going to be that number 2? Who's going to have value?
Lazard.
Yeah, exactly. And Lazard, wasn't even a concept at that time.
But it hit.
Yeah, he's the one that hit. So, maybe it'll be Chase Claypool that hits if history repeats itself. I would absolutely agree with you. I think Deontay Thompson is the better football player. I really do. And that's just me watching. I think he's had more issues with the coaching staff from what I've gathered as far as just small stories that have come out here and there. So I think that could be a huge issue. I know there's a lot of coaching staff. I know coaches have come out and said they need to work harder and stuff, and that was last year. Those things can change fairly quickly. So I believe in
a leader like Big Ben around too. I mean, they were scraping the barrel with third string quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So I really like that take by you. Last one, and I kind of hinted at this conversation. I have some interesting thoughts here. Is Allen Robinson primed for a big year?
And I hate that you asked me this because I am one of the biggest fans of Allen Robinson. I have loved Allen Robinson since he came out of Penn State.
Yeah.
I love Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
I do not love Allen Robinson in fantasy this year.
Okay.
ADP is the 5th round. 5th pick in the 5th round. And for me, you might like that. I love his talent. I love his ability. I think he's one of the best go up and get it guys. His route running, everything about him is underrated. He's one of the elite wide receivers in the league. And I think he's 24, 25 years old. He's our age.
Yeah.
Good God, he's a stud. But he has a system around him. He has a system that doesn't give him his strengths. They don't get exploited, if you will, in this offensive system. He is stuck running a lot of limited routes where he gets limited targets. And then when he does get targeted, Trubisky's throwing it in the dirt. It's just one of those things where it's sad to say. I know I'm a Trubisky hater. There are times when he does well, but I have bet on Allen Robinson every single year in fantasy after he blew up with the Jaguars for that 15. Him and Allen Hurns both hit 1,500 and had just some crazy year with Blake Bortles. Mm-hmm. It was off the chains. He has not done that since. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I feel bad as 5th round's too high.
Okay.
God, Corey Davis sounds like a better deal off of that.
I'm going to argue with you a little bit. I would agree. Corey Davis in the 13th or Allen Robinson in the 5th. I do agree with that. When I look at it, I think this is very dependent on who's throwing the football. And I think there's arguments for both sides. If it's Foles is the starter, right? And I think we're trending towards Foles being the starter. Everything we've seen out of the Bears is they don't like Trubisky that much.
Well, if we're talking about Foles, then my answer changes.
Okay. Well, I mean, so this is my answer. If Foles is the starter, I think I could see him being utilized in the same way Alshon Jeffrey was when Foles was with the Eagles when they had the Super Bowl run. They just played big ball. They were just playing big ball basketball. They were playing above everybody's head. And they got a lot of big plays out of that. They got a lot of yards out of that. I could see Allen Robinson filling that role. I could see Foles being very excited to use him in that role. I mean, I think that works really, really well. That would be my pick.
Well, I mean, I was going off of Trubisky being the starter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know. It's an open competition.
No, I mean, I'll go off of the one that Nick Foles is. Yeah, if it's Nick Foles, then I really like Allen Robinson.
Is he still worth it in the 5th round, though? What if we don't know?
No, not 5th round.
Realistically, if we're drafting...
Well, I mean, because that's where we're at right now, is we don't know. Yeah. It's just one of those things we don't know, we're not going to know.
Yeah.
I said it. I put it at the bottom of my screen. I said, this is a year that I will have to skip A-Rob.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't love you, Allen Robinson. I love you. I love your physical traits and your abilities and everything.
You're so good at football, and we know that.
Yeah. Super underappreciated. I'm here for you. I wish you were on my team. I'd rep your jersey, no problem. But you just don't have guys who can get you the ball.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think 5th round is high. That's tough because you're looking at least for me, you probably already have 2 running backs. You probably have 2 wide receivers. Is Allen Robinson going to be your 3rd wide receiver? Are you going to go tight end here? Are you going to, go early on a quarterback? Like, there's a lot of different opportunities here. And then you're saying Allen Robinson in the 5th. Man, I don't know. That would be tough for me.
He's a big name that goes right there. I'm going to pull up a 5th round.
Yeah, so I personally... I like him more in the 6th, I guess, is kind of what I would say. Like, I like him knowing that
you can't split hairs over a 5th and 6th round.
Well, I'm saying, but in the 6th round, if I've already drafted 3 wide receivers, then I'm probably pretty okay with him in the 6th.
All right, you want me to throw out the names that come out in the 5th?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
I know.
I don't take quarterback early. That's not
fair.
So keep going.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods, I would take.
You got to have Robert Woods.
I would take Robert Woods, yeah.
For whatever reason, AJ Green's here. I know you're not going to be on that one.
No,
I like AJ Green. I would be willing to bet on that, but not in the 5th round. I'm not. Kerryon Johnson, David Johnson.
I would probably take both of those over Allen Robinson.
Stephon Diggs. Here's where we start to get to the guys that I genuinely like.
I would definitely take
Diggs in the 5th round is a bye.
Yeah, it's a big
Michael Gallup in the 5th round.
I would sell on Michael Gallup. I'll take Allen Robinson.
Jarvis Landry,
I would probably take Jarvis Landry, yeah.
Darren Waller.
Yes. No.
Darren Waller's a stud.
They've added so many weapons. We don't know how much the market
share is going to change. I don't even want to say one of the last names on the list because you're shocked to know where this guy is going.
Tell me. You can't tell me now.
Clyde Edwards, 5th round, 10th pick.
Ooh, that's a huge buy.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be there.
Yeah,
he's going to be trending up.
Yeah,
he'll be 2nd, 3rd round pick when it comes to that time. But regardless, so we just went through that 5th round and saw a lot of names, and it's like, these are guys that you expect to put up big boy numbers for you. You cannot bet on Allen Robinson doing it this year, sadly.
The way you said that, there's no way Allen Robinson's going that in the 5th round.
I think a great year for Allen Robinson this year is if he gets 1,200 yards and gets 8 touchdowns-ish. Yeah. That is a great year. That's probably the ceiling. Not saying that his ability caps him there, just saying that the system limits him there.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't. That was a really great take on your part.
So
I do stand for it. I think there's a way with Foles that there could be a lot of value there. I think there should be some excitement. I do. But there's a lot of contingencies there. So
hard to get excited over that.
I couldn't agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. All right, so we got offensive and defensive players, and we're gonna close this thing out. Do you want to go first, or should I?
I'll go first. Defense. I think offense has got some exciting.
Yeah.
So honorable mentions this week. I got a lot of Vikings. Don't hate on me. Actually hate on me. I kind of like looking at the comments. It's kind of cool sometimes. Harrison Smith, honorable mention. I couldn't put you up in the top 5 because there's a better safety in this division, and it's just because you're aged a little bit and they don't like you on Madden and your speed rating. I love you though. You're a great player. Hakeem Hicks, honorable mention as well. There's once again another guy on your own team that is better at your defensive line spot. You were great and you were vital to your system. You were very appreciated at what you do. Mm-hmm. Honorable mention exactly. I might get a little hate for this. I know our buddy Dylan loves this guy, Zadarius Smith. He is a monster in the Packers pass rush. It is one of the things that they went out 2 years ago in free agency and did what I thought they were going to do this year and get stuff that they actually need. They needed an elite pass rush. They did it. Zadarius Smith, you were great. You were very talented at what you do, but you're not cracking the top 5. So I'll go number 5, Jair Alexander.
Love that.
I love it. He's gritty. He's a stud. I was scared whenever they picked him years ago because we knew this was going to be a guy that's a true number 1.
You knew how high I was on him. I mean, I'm so excited about Jair Alexander, a cornerback for the Packers, by the way.
Yes, number 4, free safety, Chicago Bears, Eddie Jackson.
I'm surprised he's that low on your list. I'm not going to lie to you. Eddie Jackson's an absolute baller, man. I love Eddie Jackson.
He's cold.
So, no, it's a tough list. I'm not shitting on you.
There's a lot of defense. I mean, when you look at each of these teams, I would say when you look at the Bears, what fuels that team? Defense. Vikings, what fuels that team? Defense. Packers offense, of course. Lions, we don't know what really fuels them. Might want to ask them.
Yeah.
It's not either side of the ball, probably. But number 3, Anthony Barr. I love Anthony Barr. I think he's very underrated for what he does. He's a 6'5" physical freak at linebacker. And I almost shed a tear when we lost him to the Jets. Whenever that whole he signed, he didn't sign, he's coming back type of thing. We need him. He's the captain of our defense. You got to have a guy like that on your team. Pro Bowler, too. Yeah. Number 2, and I wanted to put him number 1. I wanted to. He's so underrated. People don't know the name enough. Danielle Hunter.
Baller.
Absolute cold-studded at an LSU baller.
No one gives him enough credit.
The work that he puts in is why I am content in letting Everson Griffin walk. Yeah. That's why I am okay in knowing that we have a guy who's 2 times better, and Everson is great. Danielle Hunter is going to be the number 1 paid something whenever he wants it. I know he wants the money, and he deserves it too.
Absolutely deserves it.
Which leads me to the number 1 paid. He is the number 1 paid, right? The number 1 paid defensive
Khalil
player.
Mack, absolutely.
Khalil Mack, of course.
Sorry,
No, you didn't ruin anything. I mean, everyone knew who it was. When you talk defense in the NFC North, it's Khalil Mack. Yeah. His impact after that first, what was it? He played, I can't remember who he even played. He had like 2 interceptions. He even had a touchdown, forced fumble. The guy was all over the place. He was honestly in the MVP race until he got hurt around week 7 or 8.
I mean, there's 2 offensive linemen, blocking him, double teaming him, and then the tight end that's chipping him on the way out for pass. He's still causing pressure.
He is the reason that he makes Akiem Hicks what he is. He is the reason he makes all of those guys so much better on that team. He is a stud. One of my favorite players in the league.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely agree. The price was high for him, but they have one of the best defensive players in the league. And they really do for the Bears. All right, so I'll do mine. Honorable mentions. I have a pair of wide receivers for the Lions that made the honorable mention list. I believe Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones are one of the best wide receiver duos in the league, but they do not crack my top 5 in this list here.
Are they a package duo? Because I think that's what you should sell them as.
Yeah, they're a really package duo. Yeah, they're a great duo, and they're great players by themselves. But yeah, they're such a great duo. I mean, if I was making a list of top 5 duos, yeah, they're definitely in that top 5 for sure. I think probably even top 3. All right, so we'll move on. Adam Thielen in number 5. I think Adam Thielen, for whatever reason, doesn't get enough credit. I mean, honestly, people act like he's just like a slot receiver who's kind of quick and runs route. He is a complete receiver. I truly believe that. I think that's the first thing we should say. Yes, he's very fine-tuned route runner. Yes, he's kind of smaller, but other than that, he's a complete receiver, a man over the middle, a man down the sidelines, has legit speed.
Such a great story.
It's such a great story. I mean, it's an awesome player, awesome guy.
Undrafted guy who went for a tryout.
Yeah.
Vikings fan his entire life, and then he idolized Randy Moss growing up, and he ended up beating some of Randy Moss's records. The most, I think he had 8 games in a row over 100 yards. When you're being mentioned in the same sentence as Randy Moss, you're doing something right.
You're doing something right. Absolutely. All right, number 4, Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
I'm going to defend Matthew Stafford until I can't anymore. Matthew Stafford, yes, he's been hurt lately, and I get that, and that kind of that's the reason he was 4. Matthew Stafford is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. When you look at what Matthew Stafford can do with his right arm, it is better than almost every quarterback in the league, and there's only a couple that you can put ahead of him. He is amazing. He has so much talent with his right arm, and the Lions have consistently let him down with the amount of talent they put around him. Yes, he had Megatron for a couple of years and nothing else, and then Megatron retires, and then he just had nothing. I mean, it's just so unfortunate the way he has had so much talent. He has kept the Lions afloat for so many years. I'm a huge Matt Stafford fan. I think he deserves everything he has with the Lions. I think he deserves more, but he's been hurt lately, so that's why he's at 4 and maybe not higher on this list. At number 3, and I really struggle with my number 2 and 3, so tell me if you think I'm wrong here. I'm giving this one to Davante Adams
at number 3.
And number 3. And Davante Adams is an awesome receiver for the Packers, and he's the lead receiver. He's a dog. He's awesome. I don't think there's anything else to say about him. He needs somebody else on the other side of him, but he's still creating plays and making mayhem happen. On the outside by himself with really no other threats on that wide receiver.
Let me interject then and ask you the question: if you throw out receivers, there's always the question: do you put them with the big dogs? Or is he sitting at the table with Julio, Michael Thomas, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, those type of guys? Or maybe some of them aren't there.
Yes.
Who did I miss? I missed that absolute stud.
You said Keenan Allen.
Tyreek.
You said Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I think he's at that level. When you say just Julio Jones and Michael Thomas, no. But when you open the door to the Keenan Allens and the Mike Evans, absolutely, I do think he's on that level.
Top 10 wide receiver in the National Football League.
Yeah, I think he's in the conversation. I really do. Yeah, so he's a baller. He does everything right. He's a grinder and just has some grit to him, which I love. Yeah, I do think that. What do you think? Am I wrong here by saying Dalvin Cook is better right now?
Based off of what we saw last year, no. I like Dalvin a lot. I am nervous in seeing how his career has played out so far. He's been hurt a lot.
He has been hurt a lot, and that was probably
he's been hurt a lot.
That was a tough one. The other part for me is how much of Davante Adams is Aaron Rodgers doing? I don't know. I'm not saying any of it. I'm not saying all of it. I'm just
you're
saying.
Hinting at it though.
I'm just saying that was the reason. That was my question. That was just my internal thought where I was like,
you're hinting. I
know how good Dalvin Cook is. I know Dalvin Cook is a legit motherfucker. I mean, he's just an absolute dog. One of the best running backs in the league, and yes, he was hurt his first 2 years, but he wasn't hurt last year, and that's kind of what I'm basing this on. So I'm gonna give it to Dalvin Cook as better than Davante Adams right now. If you're looking at longevity, of course, you probably believe in Davante Adams. If you're looking at at history, you're probably looking at Davante Adams, of course. But right now, I'm going to give the edge to Dalvin Cook. I want you guys to know how difficult that was. And if you think I'm wrong and you would flip it, totally understandable. Couldn't agree more. 3-3. Would you flip it? What do you think?
I said 3-3.
You go for it? Hell yeah. All right, and number 1, I'm still saying Aaron Rodgers. What do you call me?
Aaron Rodgers, Dick Rider.
Aaron Rodgers, Dick Rider. I'm going to keep that mantra today.
You ride that till the sun comes up, baby.
I love Aaron Rodgers. I do. I think he's so incredibly talented. I think he has been let down by a scheme that just did not utilize his talents the way they probably should have at times, and that was with the McCarthy era. And then LaFleur comes in here, and I don't know what the fuck LaFleur's plan is anymore. I'm worried about Aaron Rodgers. Let me come in one more time and say that John Camacho has said many times that Aaron Rodgers is more talented than Tom Brady. I absolutely have. I think from a physical ability, yes, Tom Brady has the intangibles that...
Not looking physical. I'm looking at throwing the football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, but Tom Brady has these intangibles that at times, because there was a time where I said Aaron Rodgers is emphatically better than Tom Brady, and I've walked back that just a little bit to say that I understand that the
because you got hate.
Well, no, I got hate, and I also kind of was open to the idea that at least playing the quarterback position isn't just about the ability to throw the football. It's also the ability to process a play, the ability to the clutch factor has to be brought in, and then you get into all that, and then of course Tom Brady he has the legacy, he's the GOAT. Yeah. I get that. For me, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, yeah, he's physically gifted. To me, he was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes.
Well, he's the guy that's where I'm at with it. He can flick his wrist and it goes 60 down the field for him.
Ridiculous.
I get it.
And he does it off of one foot, falling backwards in the pocket. I mean, he was just a human highlight reel, and it truly felt like, when nothing was around him, everyone was covered. He's throwing the ball into this big of a window, 35 yards down the field on a rope.
He's good.
I mean, so that was my thing. For me, the Aaron Rodgers love came from years of just watching him play football and just like on the edge of my seat, excited to see the next crazy thing that he would do, because you couldn't fit all the crazy shit that he would do into one highlight reel for one game. And I think you could say similar things about Mahomes right now, and that's why I love Mahomes. I mean, it's the same kind of thought process for me. I get it, man.
He deserves to be number 1. I mean, I would say it's number 1 and then everyone else after that. Aaron Rodgers is that good.
I'm glad we agree. And look, he had a down year last year. He did. But still, by Aaron Rodgers' standards, that's not saying a whole lot. I don't feel like that's still really fucking good. Down year gets
you the championship.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. We'll see what happens with this offensive coordinator and this whole situation with LaFleur. at the end of the day, I think Aaron Rodgers must just be an asshole because like he's just not able to like keep. I don't know.
He had that stigma coming out.
Man,
of college.
he's had that stigma for a long time, and it's like shit has just not gone his way. And from the product that he's putting out on the field, I don't understand why. So there must be something else there that we're not really privy to. So that just is what it is. We'll close it out there. You done?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Let's go take a nap.
I gotta drive home.
Oh God, you gotta drive home. I'm gonna be asleep before you get home. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, please like and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. A lot of great stuff comes out. The Jeffrey Simmons film review came out yesterday. When you're watching this, comes out tomorrow. Comes out in a couple hours actually. If you're listening on the podcast, please hit that subscribe button, hit that download button, let it download the second it comes out. That really helps us out. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out, guys.
Skull.